Bengals season once again on life support. Mike Petraglia inside Paycor Stadium. Here Sunday afternoon, the Bengals were blown out 37-17 by Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Bengals lost this game by 20, but they were tied 10-10 at halftime. They were tied 17-17 midway through the third quarter. Then Philadelphia took a 24-17 lead, and late in the third quarter, the Bengals faced a do-or-die moment, at least in the mind of head coach Zach Taylor. Chase Brown got no gain on a run on 3rd and 1 at the Cincinnati 39-yard line. Then Zach Taylor decided to put the ball in the hands of Joe Burrow and go for it on 4th and 1. Burrow threw a swing pass about 10 yards horizontally, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage to Jamar Chase. It didn't work out. Chase was immediately tackled. Bengals turned the ball over on downs. That's how the third quarter ended. Then the drive eventually produced 3 more Philadelphia points, a 27-17 advantage. The Philadelphia Eagles scored 10 more points in the fourth quarter, pretty much in garbage time. The Cincinnati offense in this game in the second half, in the words of Zach Taylor after the game, just not good enough. As a matter of fact, after the game, Joe Burrow really called out the running game. He said in the first couple of games it was clear that the Bengals could have some type of running attack, but in the last several games, that running attack has disappeared. In this game, Chase Brown and Zach Moss combined for 17 carries and only 43 yards. Chase Brown did have a touchdown run that made it 17-17, a 4-yard burst up the middle. But when Joe Burrow, your quarterback, has the biggest explosive run in the run game of 8 yards, you know you have a problem. Joe Burrow clearly frustrated after the game with the running attack. He clearly understands that he can't do it all himself. Add to the fact that T. Higgins was not available in this game with the quadriceps injury that he sustained Friday in practice. He was inactive. The Bengals were expecting Chase Brown and Zach Moss and the run game in particular, the offensive line, to do more than just provide 43 yards. It was abysmal. Zach Taylor is going to take his criticism, and he knows that for that 4th and 1 call. He, as a matter of fact, said after the game, I take full responsibility. It didn't work out. And when it doesn't work out, you look yourself in the mirror and you kind of question yourself the entire game. So Zach Taylor certainly took responsibility, took accountability, but there were other parts of this game that also need examination. And Joe Burrow talked about not only the lack of the run game, but the ability to put together anything offensively in the second half. You can tell by Joe Burrow's reaction, his calm, cool, but very brief answers after the game. He was holding a lot inside. Defensively, Mike Hilton said after the game, when the Eagles scored right before halftime and right after halftime, a double dip as he termed it, the defense has to be better. And he said at 3-5, everything is still in front of us, but something's got to change. What's got to change? Well, the Bengals are going to have heart-to-hearts all over and all inside Paycor Stadium this week and try and figure that out. They have the Las Vegas Raiders, a game they figure they should be favored in to win and take care of business next week here at home. But speaking of home, the Bengals have been anything but hospitable to their own fans, and Zach Taylor apologized to the fans for falling to 0-4 this year here inside Paycor Stadium. Actually 0-6 if you include the 2 preseason losses. It's almost unconscionable to think the Bengal fans have not been treated to a home victory yet, and here we're approaching November. Really, really remarkable for a team that some people thought had Super Bowl aspirations, at least AFC North championship aspirations, and at 3-5, those hopes are quickly going down the drain. After the game, I asked Joe Burrow, how far down the hole do you think you are, and how big is the hole before it gets too big to dig yourself out of? And he told me afterwards, look, 10 wins usually get you to the playoffs, and that means we have to win 7 of our final 9 games, and that's doable. And that's what he said after the game, but do the Bengals really believe that? Do the Bengals, the way they're playing right now, feel it's doable to win 7 of your final 9 games? You can't blame the Bengal fans who left this game in mass with about 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You can't blame them if they doubt those words quite a bit at this point. Bengals fall to 3-5 on the season. They lose one to Philadelphia 37-17. We'll have you covered on the X for a complete locker room reaction and commentary. That's at Trags, Trags. Of course, Skinny, Richard Skinner of Local 12, and I will have the post-game podcast coming up shortly. That'll be on youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. That's the Jungle Roar Pod, Skinny Bengals post-game podcast. And, of course, as always, follow my content. The post-game analysis is up right now at CLNS Cincy with a Y.com. Inside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.